Now it's 5 p.m. in Ukraine and Russia's invasion of the country has entered its 197th day. Let's begin our coverage of the war with the report from the United Nations that there are credible data backing accusations that Russian forces have sent Ukrainian children to Russia for adoption as part of a larger-scale forced relocation and deportation program. Hildebrand Skerries, Assistant UN Secretary General of the Human Rights, told a meeting of the United Nations Secretary General or Secretary Council on Wednesday that Russian forces are also running filtration operations in which Ukrainians in occupied territories face systematic security checks that have involved numerous human rights violations. We have more in this report.
Since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, the United Nations has verified the killing of 5,718 civilians, including 372 children, but the actual numbers are likely significantly higher. Briefing the Council on Wednesday, the Undersecretary General for Political and Peace Affairs, Rosemary DiCarlo, said all these numbers and facts, though shocking, cannot convey the full scale of the tragedy.
All these numbers and facts, though shocking, cannot convey the full scale of the tragedy. But in the face of the international community incapacity to stop this senseless war, we must continue to record its horrific consequences as faithfully and accurately as possible.
UN's Assistant Secretary General for Human Rights, Hildebrand Skerries, informed that some 7 million people are internally displaced in Ukraine, and millions more have sought refuge outside of the country. The Assistant Secretary General also highlighted credible allegations of forced transfer of unaccompanied children to Russian-occupied territories or to the Russian Federation itself.
We are concerned that the Russian authorities have adopted a simplified procedure to grant Russian citizenship to children without parental care, and that these children would be eligible for adoption by Russian families. OHCHR has documented that men and women perceived as having ties with Ukrainian armed forces or state institutions, or as having pro-Ukrainian or anti-Russian views, were subjected to arbitrary detention, torture, ill treatment, and enforced disappearance.
Vasily Nebenzia, the permanent representative to the United Nations, said the meeting, which was convened under the request of United States and Albania, had every chance of becoming a new milestone on the disinformation campaign unleashed by Ukraine and its Western backers against their country.
Today's meeting, which was convened under the request of the United States and Albania, has every chance of becoming a new milestone on the disinformation campaign unleashed by Ukraine and its Western backers against our country.
Kristina Iovishyn, the deputy permanent representative from Ukraine, told the council members that as part of its aggression, Russia continues forcible deportation of Ukrainian citizens to its territory.
Our people are being transferred to isolated and depressed regions of Siberia and the Far East. The scale of this crime is outrageous. According to available data, nearly 2.5 million Ukrainians, including about 38,000 children, have been transferred from southern and eastern regions of Ukraine.
Before the meeting, U.S. Permanent Representative Linda Thomas-Greenfield spoke to journalists at the Security Council. The ambassador said the United States has evidence that hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian citizens, including children, have been interrogated, detained, and forcibly deported, and some of them sent to very remote areas.
The experience is different for everyone, depending on how threatening they are perceived to be toward Russia's invasion. And some are allowed to remain in Russian-occupied parts of Ukraine, some are forcibly deported to Russia, and some are sent to prison, and some simply vanish.
Accusing the West of trying to besmirch his country, Vasily Nebenzia rebuffed the allegations, calling them unfounded. Mr. Nebenzia said what was labeled filtration was simply registering people coming into Russia.